just going to be going over things that I don't think are clear enough in the instructions. So here we go. How do you put an Xbox 360 in the Avenger? You put it in like this. You put it in the cradle. This is the 360, and you close it. Instead of putting it on the bottom, you put it on the top first, and then close it up. When you get the Avenger, there's a lot of things that you're going to be doing differently, and I think the easiest way to start would be to not change it very much. The simplest way is just to, what you already have this in here, is to pull this tight. And what this will do is take the preload out a little bit, and you could squeeze the trigger, but then you could also use your pinky in the back and use it like that. Another method is to make it looser and then hold the controller like you normally would, but then grip the controller. So your fingers would be down here and you could just grip. And they're loose. They're just, you put it right in this track, and you can adjust it here the distance you want. Precision goes, there's this line that we give you. You tie it to the front, like so, and then you make a little rubber band on the back, and then you pull it through. And what this does, that's too much. That's a machine gun. You can get some really nice sensitivity. One shot at a time. Now here's a handgun. See how that barely went in? Over a game, that's a lot. Another way you can do it is to use the hoop. And basically you make a hoop through this that you pull through, and then you use your finger, and this would be the firing or the zoom. Like I said before, since you're learning so much, I think the easiest way to do it is just to have this line here, and then you have the sensitivity, and you can use the Xbox 360 or the PS3 like you normally would. What you want to do with the PS3 is you want to probably reverse this, the bumper. You want to reverse it and put it down here, so the firing and the zooming are up here. And the reason is when you do this line, here, you want it to be, you want sensitivity here, the firing here, just like what we did with the 360. Now, as far as adjusting, getting this perfectly right for you, there's some things you can do. If you have a certain version, you can bend this. I'm barely bending this. It's not taking much effort, and you can get it into place where you want. Some of the units cannot be bent, and you'll know. You just go like this and you feel it, and you'll know that you're going to break it if you do it. So if you're not sure, don't bend it. So the only arm that can bend is sometimes this one. You have some options. So for example, let's say you still want it higher and you feel like your finger's getting in the way here, or you can't have, this is getting in the way. What you can do is you can turn this, and what that does is raise this pin higher. And that goes for all of them. If this is too much in your way and you want a little higher, just unscrew this and it raises up. If you want it lower, screw this down and it's going to make a faster contact. This goes for all the levers. If you find yourself completely at a loss and you feel like your finger is too fat, I put my thumb there and I can use it, but let's say you just have giant fingers and you want this bent a little differently. What you can do is put a heat gun right here underneath here, and as soon as it starts to get hot, you can bend this down a little bit or bend it in just a little bit. But I would only do it one time, and I would only do it if you really can't stand, you really are having troubles with the way it's set. Things that are coming in late 2012 and 2013 is we have these gel caps that you can put on the D-pad and on the joysticks, and what this does is your finger can go there very quick and you can use the D-pad, and this is really feels nice. Feels better than anything I've ever used before as far as extensions onto the caps. They have a nice cushy feel to them, and they spring, and there's a little stick to it. And maybe they're not as high as some of them, but what it makes up for in height, it makes up for in width, so you still get that torque. Another thing that we're coming out with 2013, which you can adapt to your Avenger, is a fourth lever. So basically what you have is you have just a clicker here. So when your thumb's on here, you just press that down, and you can use the A. And one other great feature we're having is you can take out the triggers that we have, and you're going to be able to do two things. You have the triggers like you normally would, but then you just lift your finger up here and you would hit the bumper. You just have your finger come from underneath and you hit the bumper. Either way. All of these things are available for the PS3 too. So, it's double action triggers.